I like Pantera.
No way! I love Pantera.
What's up, staunch gang? You heard that right. Tonight, I will be ranking my top 10 Pantera tracks. And trust me, I did my best to include every album and every era of the band. Otherwise, it would just be tracks from Great Southern Trendkill. And I'll be talking a bit more about the band a little later on. I've been a fan of the group since about 7th grade, and I really do consider a lot of their tracks to be high points as far as blending genres and basically stepping up the modern popular metal sound as much as they did. And while Pantera tends to get a lot of hate these days, I do feel most of it is unwarranted. But more on that later. For now, let's get to my top 10 Pantera tracks, starting with number 10. Number 10, Hard Ride. For a classic track, this one really does have a lot of flavor and like a lot going on. You can really tell why Pantera stood out amongst their peers as far as the other bands with this particular sound of the time. And I always wish they would have done a cover of this song, made it kind of heavier, because you can almost hear a heavier, sludgier take of this tune. It's right there. And oh, that solo. Number 9, Primal Concrete Sledge. As far as classic Pantera goes, I kind of feel it's a pretty distinctive line in the sand, if you will. And with this album, they're kind of blending the past sounds with some of the more raw takes on the genre. Really kind of evolving the idea of power metal. It's a rambunctious track that has a lot of elements, including speed and even some kind of punk elements. Classic Pantera, and just an earshot away from the Pantera we would all eventually know. And the title, Primal Concrete Sledge, it always stuck with me for some reason. Weird. However, I kind of prefer the introspective, kind of on-the-nose Pantera lyrics rather than their tough guy, self-help guru lyrics as found in Primal Concrete Sledge. But it is a cool track. Oh, and that solo. Number 8, Live in a Hole. The album contains most of, if not all, that tough guy attitude stuff I was talking about, the I'll beat you up kind of stuff. And that's not really my bag o' ships. But there is some standout stuff happening here, especially riff-wise. And in my opinion, Live in a Hole may be the best track off that album.
I love Pantera.
Number 7, I'll Cast a Shadow.
This is one called I'll Cast a Fucking Shadow. Thank you very much.
I really like Reinventing the Steel. I really do. It's one of my top albums from the group. Even though, yeah, it is kind of lazy and unstructured most times, and it's not at all their best effort as a group, but I think it's an interesting album based on all the behind-the-scenes drama, etc. And Phil's headspace at the time, well, it led to some of the most introspective and subversive yet confident lyrics of the band's whole career. With the disbandment of the band shortly after that, the track I'll Cast a Shadow really kind of plays as ironic. I'll let it be known right now, though, that sadly, my favorite version of Anselmo was the uneven, distant, kind of black metal influence, downward spiral in life Anselmo from this era. Sorry. And you know, I really do think that this is the standout track on that album. Number 6, Floods. And as far as the previous version of Anselmo that I was just talking about, we kind of got the start of that here with the Great Southern Trendkill, an album I honestly consider to be their heaviest. Yet it has some very slow, somber takes on the band's sound, and Anselmo's lyrics can be straight heartbreaking yet poetic to the max, especially with the track Floods. A far cry of their earlier takes on the supposed ballad. It also has one of the best breakdowns, that part when he's like, die, die, die. Oh man, and that solo.
He won it!
Number 5, Shattered. First off, Phil's vocals here are insane. And again, you see here how the band stood apart from their peers, making this style of music. Cowboys from Hell really does walk a fine line between power metal and cock rock. Luckily for Pantera, though, I mean, I guess that was never an issue. The attitude here is prevalent with this track, as is the riffage, you know, some really great riffs going on here. In fact, Cowboys from Hell is jam-packed with riffs, so that's saying a lot. But I've always really liked the transition from the album Power Metal to Cowboys from Hell. In a lot of ways, it was both a crossover album and, you know, a pioneer style of its own. No other bands dabbling in that particular style that were also attempting to evolve, none of them did it as flawlessly as Pantera did, as demonstrated here with the track Shattered. And that solo. Number 4, 13 Steps to Nowhere. And once again, we are back at the Great Southern Trendkill. This time, though, with the track 13 Steps to Nowhere. Another kind of downer, introspective, and personal track as far as Anselmo is concerned. And a further example of why this album, in my opinion, is easily their best. It just goes so many places musically and has a real bleak feel to it. And possibly their most iconic album cover, if I may add. It just informs you right away of the sound that you're getting into. 13 Steps to Nowhere, we are on just such a heavy groove trip. And it really is a testament to the album's heavy-handed subject matter. Number 3, Shedding Skin. Shedding skin, changing within, falling again. I've always felt Shedding Skin is kind of a part of the rest of their stuff. While it may ring familiar to the common ear, it's somehow just a very unique song to say the least. Shedding Skin is just as aggressive and powerful as their other outings, but I tend to have a hard time comparing it to another track. I don't know, maybe you can let me know down in the comments. But its raw immediacy here it just puts you on edge. And while the album may be the most experimental from the group, I personally feel that it always kind of tried too hard in certain spots. I don't know. But here, with this track, I mean, perfection. And that solo. Number 2, Immortally Insane. Oh, hell yeah. This one almost made my number 1 spot, seriously, as I always felt this was an underrated Pantera banger. From the sequel to the iconic animated film Heavy Metal, we get Immortally Insane from the Heavy Metal Fact 2 soundtrack. A film I found to be underwhelming, but the soundtrack though, I mean shit, what do you think? Should I cover the film? Let me know in the comments. And here, with Immortally Insane, we get a more vibrant attitude, and the grooves are overwhelming in the best possible ways. You can tell the guys are just having a blast with this one, and it's a really good time. There's some real kind of stoner metal, kind of old school vibes to this one, and a verse break unlike anything we have heard from the group, really. You can definitely hear like some alternative influences there. Let me know your top 10 Pantera tracks below. Now, before I get to my number 1 pick, let's talk about Pantera a little bit. I've always remembered the band fondly as, a groundbreaking metal act, and while I didn't get to see them live, I was privy to their legacy and saw how it all sadly played out in real time. Always respected the band's contributions, and from time to time, I still jam their tunes, Rest in peace Dime, and rest in peace Vinny. That being said, if I'm giving my honest opinions here, which I always do, my favorite member was always Phil Anselmo. I like how he's way into the horror stuff, as am I, and through his t-shirts alone throughout the years, well, I got a lot of names of great horror flicks and some really good bands in the pre-internet days, and for those of you as old as I am, that was a real godsend back in the day. And though it may technically be his fault the group fell apart, when they did split, I always thought Phil did the best music. Like, I was never into anything Dime or Vinny did after Pantera. None of it. In fact, I can't stand that shit. And while I don't like all of Phil's outings either, mainly the illegal stuff and a few others, I did love Superjoint Ritual and Down and saw them multiple times. And pretty much anything else Phil did, I sought out and appreciated, I don't buy the racial stuff that they accused him of, although maybe, I don't know, it's not like he's alone in that aspect either.
We got a test, see if the next play, dude.
I don't know. It's definitely a dark mark on Pantera's history that they can no longer deny, And as far as the reunion, well, a lot of you guys have been telling me that it's just like the Static X debacle, getting another guy to wear a mask of your dead singer. It's insane to me how that is okay for some people. That being said, check out my Static X video next. Well, all I got to say about that is if Zakk Wylde comes out on stage with a Dimebag Darrell mask and Charlie comes out with a Vinnie Paul mask, yeah, maybe you're right. And I think Zakk and Charlie are like the best 2 options to be on this band and to really give the fans some Pantera tunes alongside Phil and Rex. And I'm sure it'll play out better than the Illegals Pantera sets, so I'm very down to see this. And no, I don't think it's anything at all like the Static X debacle. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think down below, and if you want me to comment further on that, I will. Let's get to my number 1 pick. Surprise, surprise. Number 1, Suicide Note Part 2. I feel this track is unrivaled in so many ways. It may be their fastest, their heaviest, their most aggressive song they ever recorded. It almost hits your ears wrong. Almost. And it almost tops out with the aggression. Almost. A real edge of your seat thrill ride, if you will, showcasing their views on another controversial subject, basically being a part of a really great block of tunes here in this album. I think this is the perfect Pantera track. Sorry to go off on Great Southern Trendkill so much. I asked you, the Staunch Gang, what were your favorite tracks, and ironically, most of the ones you picked wound up on my honorary mentions list. And on that list, we have the tracks Slaughtered, The Underground in America, Psycho Holiday, and Death Rattle. Let me know your top 10 tracks down below, and what do you think about Pantera? Please, be nice. Also, what other band songs should I rank? Let me know what's up. Until next time, though, strobe light!